All right, guys. So I'm gonna go over my gap and crap strategy real quick. Um, Here are the tickers for 2019. So gap up over 60%. I had tracked ones that gapped up 50%, but I realized a lot of them that gap like 50 or under 60%, they'll have really big rips in the morning. So I don't want to deal with that. So I took out 50% gap up criteria and made it 60%, and that seemed to help my edge. Day one of the move, obviously, a large amount of bag holders, whether that be, I call this individual resistance, where one individual day it ran a lot on heavy volume. At least, I like over 8 million. I really like over like 20 or like 15 as far as the volume goes. I'll call this individual resistance, or it can have consistent resistance, meaning like an average daily volume is like at least like 800,000 or a million. So if like each one of these candles it was like 800,000 or like a million every day, that could also act as bag holders. But mostly with low floats, it's usually individual resistance where one day ran in on heavy volume and trapped people. I like individual resistance more. So MTSL would be a good example. Let me go back to my criteria real quick. Pre-market volume greater than 500,000. If it's anything less than 500,000, oftentimes when fresh volume comes in at open, if you have those big like 300, 500, 1 million share candles at the open, it'll really just go parabolic or just do whatever it wants to. So there needs to be some type of volume in pre-market over 500,000. Usually it's over a million. Not an earnings winner or SSR. Obviously, entry signals are, a double top, descending triangle, a pennant or a wedge. Yes, a pennant or wedge can be bullish or bearish, but most of the time in low caps they fail. On top of the criteria and the back holders, and this strategy makes it lean heavy towards bearish or parabolic push. Get that good risk to reward. By parabolic, I don't really mean like parabolic, but you know what I mean. Clear seller at a level for multiple rejections. That could be another entry. Long traps as well, but I'll just stick to these. I will get in pre-market if there's a lot of bag holders on the chart. There has to be a lot of bag holders though, and a nice, really nice level. Because oftentimes there's like a shit ton of bag holders, then as soon as it hits 9:30, just whack, that candle crushes and you kind of miss out a bit. Panics. Anyways, so first 30 minutes, but 80% of these fail in the first five. If not all, failed the first 15. There's just a couple that failed after that. So in the morning, obviously, is when you're going to apply this strategy. An example being MTSL. I think it was September. So pre-market volume over 500,000, market cap over 5 million, float was over a million. All these float has to be over a million, but this was actually the smallest market cap. My girlfriend keeps calling me. And this is a gap up plus bounce short, meaning it opened up in the area where all the back holders are, right? So that's super good for the shorts. So also back holders have to be within the last year. Anything after I don't really count. So this was 10 months ago. The more recent the back holders are, the better. So you can see at the open, it pretty much fails. We got this overhead resistance and all the criteria is met. You could probably get in pre-market here. You got a little bit of a level, but it's just the big thing is there's a lot of bag holders, and it's opening up right in that range of where the bag holders were trapped, so that's perfect. So if you get in pre-market, you get this nice crash. Or if you don't want to get in pre-market, you can get in at this kind of like this failing action right here. Fail at VWAP, fail at VWAP, fail at VWAP. This was an all-day fader. But I like to cover most of my shares by 10 a.m. I don't have enough stats on the all-day faders yet. And in this market, you don't really see too many of those recently. And I cover it into all dips really quickly. All right, guys. So an A plus would be it's gapping up into a day that trapped a lot of people. It's gapping up into that range, into that level. A shitty biotech, fundamentals are fucked up, all that stuff. And more volume it ran, the better, and the more recent it is, the better. All right, that was my Gavin Crap.